right? So as you can see on the screen, that's a monthly chart. So we're going to use the monthly chart, and then probably the weekly chart also. So we're going to talk about the 18.618 extension. We're also going to talk about the first, second, and third bull run, and we're going to compare it to the fourth bull run, right? So we're also going to talk about the Trololo trend line, and then how the Trololo trend line is comparable to the 200 moving average, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the 18.618 extension. So also pay a clear attention to this V shape just by this area, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the 18.618 extension. I mentioned it on my previous live stream, and I also published a something on TradingView just about the next bull cycle, right? Going to $370,000, right? So when you take a look at the first bull market, right, just around 2011, it has a 18.618 extension to the next peak, right? The next bull market peak. So you take a look at it. Just about this area was like $250 to $300, right? Just about like mid 2018, right? So in mid 2018 we had a first bubble, and then a small bear market, right? A small correction, right? So after that, what do we got? We got another big extension to the upside, right? So when you take a look at this extension also, it is a 3.618 extension from the previous peak, right? So you take a look at it. It is exactly at 3.618 extension, just about like 1140, right? So BTC tapped out just about like 1100, right? 1140 to 1160 back in November 2013, right? So how are we going to relate all these extension to the current bull market and then the past bear market, right? So it is quite amazing also, right? The last bull market, right, it is 18.618 extension of the previous bull market. So what I mean by that, you take a look at this bull market just by this area from $50, right, to 1160 down to just about like 150. It is exactly 18.618 extension, just about like $20,000, right, give or take. So it is within like 5% error, right? It is at 18.618 extension. So what I'm expecting now from BTC to do, I'm expecting an 18.618 extension, right, of the 2015 to 2017 bull market. So you take a look at this extension from 150 to 20,000, from 150 to 20,000 down to 3,100, right, give or take, right? 3,000 to 3,100. So you're gonna get roughly almost $400,000, right? So it depends how you draw your extension tool, right? Because it's not gonna be accurate, just like in this area like 3,150, right? So 3,150, right? So it's not gonna be extremely accurate, but give or take like within a 5 to 10% error. So you're looking at just about like $370 to $400,000 BTC, right? So it is very possible, and I'm expecting like a $370,000 to $400,000 BTC in the next bubble peak. But before we get to $370,000 BTC, we have to make a stop, right? But where we're gonna make where we're gonna get the first stop? So when you compare, when you go back to the 2011 to 2013 bubble, right? So you can see we got a V shape. It is quite amazing, right? We got a V shape. We tapped out with a V shape. So it means like we got two bubbles, right? Two bubbles, right? So what I'm expecting a two bubbles. So the first one was the 2017, right? This 2017 bubble, just about this area, right? Just about this area. So I'm expecting another tap just about this area. So take a look at it. I'm expecting another top. So this top gonna, you know, replicate the V shape we got just about this area. Let me change the color. It's gonna replicate. We're gonna get a V shape, a very accelerated move, right? Just like that, right? Just like that. So I'm expecting, like, that's a monthly chart now, so it's not a daily chart. So keep that in mind. The monthly is so bullish. The growth rate of BTC, you know, it is very very aggressive. So last time you seen like this type of growth rate was like back in 2013, right? That's the last time you seen like the monthly like a growth rate of BTC on the R side being so aggressive. You can see like back in 2015, like when we bottomed, it wasn't that aggressive, right? Maybe like the first couple of months was like very aggressive after we changed the slope, and then it moved sideways, right, up to 20K. But this time it is very aggressive, like from January, like 6 months of aggressivity, right? It is very aggressive, and then we can see like this type of aggressivity like for the next like 12 to 14 months. So keep that in mind, right? So when you compare these two V shapes, right? So this one and that one, right? So I'm expecting a double top on the monthly chart. So how do I know? You know, how can I expect like where we're gonna be picking at, right? Where the pick gonna be at, right? So if you pay like a clear attention, right? You know, this bear market lasted like almost a year shorter, right? It is a year, you know, a year shorter, right? So you can expect at least, you know, when you go back to the to the chart, right? You can expect at least, you know, this bull market to last twice long, right? Which bull market I mean this one. So that's a bull market I'm expecting, right? Just about this area. So how do I know, like, how do I expect this pick? This pick, I'm expecting a 3.618 extension of this move. So you take a look at it. 3.618 extension of the previous bull market. Not 18.618. 18.618 going to be like 400,000, but the first pick, right? The first pick before the $370,000, we're gonna, you know, get a 18.618 extension, and we're gonna get a 3.618 extension, and this 3.618 extension gonna be just about like $70,000 to $80,000 BTC. So once we get to $80,000 BTC in this area, right? So you can expect, right, at least for the short term, you can expect when you go back to your R side, you can expect your R side to make a double top. So excuse me. So it is going to be very scary, because once we make a double top on the monthly chart, you can expect another bear market. So this bear market, you know, at what point, what price point do you think we're going to bottom at, right? So we have to go back to the chart. So when you go back to the chart, right, I know it sounds very complicated, but you just have to be patient, right? So when you go back to the chart, once we get this to this point, 3.618 extension, right, we came back down, right? We came back down like almost 87%, right? So this one, I'm expecting also, once we get to 3.618 extension, just about like 70,000 to 80,000, we're gonna come back down to $20,000 before going to the next peak level, right? That's very possible. So keep that in mind. Once we get to 80K, we have to be patient, right? Once we get to 70 to 80K, I'm not even talking about like 20K, right? I'm talking about 80K. Once we get to $80,000, we just have to see at what price point, right, BTC going to be bottoming out, right? So, and also I wanted to talk about the Trololo trend line, right? So when you go back to the Trololo trend line, let me add the Trololo trend line. The Trololo trend line has a current growth rate of 1.13%, right? 1.13%, a growth rate of 1.13%, right? So when you take a look at it, and the current price of the Trololo is just about let me see, 4,500, right? So Okay, the current price of the Trololo trend line, it is just about like 4469, 4500, and we talked about it like back when BTC was just about 3880. We said like BTC has bottomed because BTC has never been traded, been trading below the Trololo trend line. So you have to pay clear attention to that, right? BTC has never been traded more than 5% below the Trololo trend line. So with a growth rate of 1.1% per week, right? Where do I expect the price of the Trololo trend line to be at in the next, let's say 2 years, right? Let's just estimate like 2.5 years, right? Which is just about like 130 weeks. So how do I calculate it? So you have to go to rapidtables, right.com. If you go to rapidtables.com, right? So you got a calculator over there, a exponential growth rate calculator. Click on calculator, then click on a math calculator, and then go to exponential growth rate calculator, right? So you don't need to know anything about this. You just have to plug your numbers, right? So the current price of the the X0, the current price of the Trololo trend line is at 4469, right? So that's X0. Your growth rate 1.13% per week, right? So how many weeks? 2.5 years is just about like what, 130 weeks, right? So you type in your 130 weeks, so that'll give you almost like $20,000 BTC, right? So $20,000 BTC, the Trololo trend line going to be at $20,000 BTC, just about like let's say December 2.5 years from now, 2019, right? 2021, like December 2021, right? So you can expect the Trololo trend line to be at just about like 20,000 in 2021. So what that means, right? It means like we're gonna get to 80,000 very fast, right? We're gonna get to $80,000 very fast, and then we're gonna have to drop back to $20,000 before December, just about this area. So we're gonna go all the way up to $80,000, 70 to $80,000, and then we have to drop back to like $20,000 before moving forward, right? So that would replicate this entire move, right? We got just about this area, just about this area. So we're going to replicate this move. We're going to replicate this move. That's what we need to do, right? At least for the short term. So keep that in mind, guys. So I'm extremely bullish. But once we get to $80,000 BTC, we're just going to have to reassess our judgment and see like if we're going to be able to push to the upside. Because if you go back to the monthly chart, BTC monthly chart, and then you take a look at the both the stochastic and then the RSI, they never been traded on the overbought area like forever. So they only stay there like for a couple of months, and then they're gonna have to drop back, right? So you take a look at your stochastic, and then stock RSI, right? Yeah, stock RSI, right? Okay, now we finally got it. So so when you take a look at the RSI, right? The RSI is not the monthly RSI has never been traded like for like a couple months, like 5 to 10 months, something like that, some years, on top of this area. So, and then the growth rate, the current growth rate we got is, moving very fast. So you take a look at it, it is similar to the past growth rate we got just about this area, right? So it doesn't have the same slope we get in just about this area. When you take a look at the monthly chart, it doesn't have the same slope, right? So you can expect, at least for the short term, once we picked at $80,000, roughly $70 to $80,000, we could expect another bear market like down to like 20K. So that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm expecting this entire move, roughly this entire move, just about this area, to be the next bubble pick, which is just going to be a 3.618 extension before we get to like a 18.618 extension at a $370,000. So expect some bear market after we hit like $80,000. I know it is too early to talk about $80,000 BTC, but as soon as we get to 80k, I'm gonna update this extensions, right, and see like where we headed next, right? So at least for the short term. Hey, what's up, Spencer? Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at XRP. I mean, I think XRP gonna get to $50 next bull run, but I'm not sure if it's gonna get to $50 before BTC hits $80,000. So I know it is too early to talk about $80,000, but the current growth rate we got, it is incredible. I said it back in April. You know, we're gonna get a linear growth rate. I mean, not a linear growth rate, but a linear stock also, right? When you take a look at it, so that's what we're getting exactly. So keep that in mind. And I'm not expecting like some noise. I was expecting some noise, but as not, I did some like a deeper research. I'm not expecting this noise, right? That's not what I'm expecting. So I'm expecting this move, right? Just about this area. That's what I'm expecting, this move to go all the way up in this area and come back down. So it is going to take us back to like 80k, and in two and a half years from now, you can expect like the Trololo trend line to be at $20,000. So, and then the Trololo trend line is also relatively equal to the 200-day moving average, right? So keep that in mind, because on December, the first week or second week of December, the Trololo trend line was at 3,100, right? And then BTC bottom at 3,100, right? 3,150 roughly, right? So keep that in mind. So if I add the Trololo trend line, right? So you can see in this area, just about like the month of December, right? The Trololo trend line was at on the weekly time frame. You only have to take a look at it on the weekly time frame. On the monthly time frame, it doesn't work. So the Trololo trend line was at just about this was just about 3,200, right? The first week, second week of November, right? 3,150, right? And then we bottom just about 3,150. And then if you take a look at the 200 moving average, right, on the weekly time frame, we also bottom at the same area, right? So they're relatively like close to one another, right? So also you gotta think about it, right? Just about this area, we bottom at the 200 weekly moving average, and then the Trololo trend line was roughly at $200, right? At $200, right? And then we bottom right at $200. So you can expect like the 200 days moving average in 2.5 years to be at $20,000 BTC, right? $20,000 BTC, right? In the next 2.5 years, right? So keep that in mind. And then if we're gonna be having a very quick bull market, it's gonna be very quick, right? Very quick bull market. It could last like, you could stop like it could like picked out like in the next 14 months, right? We could hit like a 14, not 14, but $80,000 BTC, and then we're gonna get another like a 6 months bear market, like a very rapid growth. I mean a very rapid decline in growth rate, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. XRP and ADA. So I'm going to take a look at XRP very shortly, and then I just wanted to cover BTC, but let's talk about XRP. XRP BTC, we talked about XRP making a corrective move just about this area, and I'm expecting like XRP to hit like 63 cents very shortly. I'm not sure if I'm not sure how long it's going to take for XRP to get to 63 cents, but next extension tool is just about the next pick is saying like the tool is saying like the next pick is at 63 cents, right? So you can expect XRP very shortly, right, to hit like 63 cents, because like I said, like back in like February 22nd, Litecoin is a blueprint, right? So Litecoin made this corrective move. This flat correction went up 70% to the upside. So I'm expecting XRP to do the same. Ethereum did the same. Ethereum is doing the same thing, and then Bitcoin did the same thing, right? So you expect like a 70% move from this bottom, just about like a 36, right? 36 cents, right? So you can expect like a 63 cents XRP, right? Very shortly. Also, you gotta remember, right? We had like a big resistance just about 36 cents, right? Back in like a December, January, just about this area. XRP couldn't break above like 36 cents. Now we broke above it, came back, retested. Now we move into the upside. So it is very probable like we're gonna hit like 63 cents very shortly. So and then once we hit 63 cents, we can expect like some accumulation move before moving forward. But XRP target is nothing but $1.20 to $1.50 very shortly. Very shortly we're gonna hit $1.20 to $1.50, right? So you can expect like just if you want to be like a conservative, you can just say 7x from the bottom. So you don't have to do any TA. 7x from the bottom, right? Let's say just about this area. Let's just say 700%, just like Litecoin, right? Just about like $2.50, right? If you want to just forget about XRP, buy it and come back down, come back later, right? Just about like in 6 to 12 months, come back and then check it out. You could see like a $2.50 XRP at least for the next push to the upside, right? To $2.50. But for the short term, expect like a 63 $1.20, $1.50 in that range before some slight correction, right? So you want to talk about ADA? Let's talk about ADA very shortly. ADA BTC. Let's talk. When you take a look at ADA BTC, it is making the same corrective move like the rest of the market actually making, right? So you take a look at it, right? You got your let's add to the stock R side. You got your you got your stock R side oversold and your R side. Both of them, they are pretty much oversold, right? So they're looking pretty safe because you cannot get like both of these indicators being oversold forever. One of them has to especially the stock R side gonna have to like get out of this area at some point, and then it is gonna give you like some bullishness. So the R side could be around this area, for the next, who knows, right? But at least it is pretty safe right now to be accumulating ADA versus BTC, right? So if you don't care about the dollar value, you only care about the BTC value, it is looking great for some accumulation, right? So and if you take a look at it, just about this area, yeah, I don't expect like ADA to drop down like to a 6, just about this area. I'm not expecting like ADA to drop like another 40% to the downside, but it could, but I'm not expecting it, right? Because the rest of the market, like they dropped down to like 1.27, right? From this peak of December, the first week of December to the next peak, right? The rest of the market dropped like down to like 1.27. So, but ADA is holding very strong, right? It is holding very strong right now. So, but if like we keep dropping to the downside, that's the next area of support, right? So which is roughly about like let's say 543, right? In that range, 543 to 600, right? Sats. So I know it is quite low, but we have to hold strong, right? So otherwise we're gonna be looking at a 543 range, right? Versus BTC. It doesn't mean like the dollar value of ADA, not XLM, ADA gonna be dropping, because BTC is pretty much bullish, right? It is not going to be increasing as fast as BTC. Basically BTC can go up like 10%, and then ADA gonna go up like maybe 3%, 4%, something like that, right? So keep that in mind. It doesn't have anything to do with the dollar value. So but BTC going to take care of the dollar value of ADA and then the rest of the crypto. But you and I, most of you guys want to accumulate BTC, so you only care about the BTC value, not the dollar value. So keep that in mind. So that's all I wanted to cover today about BTC going up to 80K and coming back down to 20K before we could be headed like back then. We could be headed like to $370,000 and above, right? So, but we're gonna talk about it in the next 2 to 2.5 years, right? So I know it is quite long, but you gotta think about it, right? If you had done your research back in like 2016, right, and then you could be expecting, at least for the short term, right, you could expect like BTC to top out at $20,000 and coming back down to 3K, but none of us like did that type of research, so none of us couldn't expect like these type of cycles, right? So, but at least it'll give you like some sort of ideas, like where can you expect like the price to be at the next 14 to 18 months, and then where can we expect like the 200 days moving average to be in the next 2.5 years. All of those stuff is pretty much important. Like most people don't know where the cannot like anticipate where this this 200 days moving average going to be at in the next 2 years. You cannot expect it because it is just an average, right? So you just cannot say like BTC the 200 days moving average is going to be at $20,000, but how do you know? I mean, you can calculate it, but with the Trololo trend line being so exact, has the same exact growth rate with the 200 days moving average, you can expect the next price of the 200 days moving average in the next 2.5 years to be at $20,000, right? So keep that in mind, $20,000. So to be at $20,000 in the next 2.5 years. So if you buy BTC right now, the next 2.5 years you're still going to be up, right? Basically, if you buy at 10K, the next 2.5 years you still be profitable. So at least for the short term, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, guys. So that's all I wanted to cover. Hopefully like the content is useful, and then you guys gonna be accumulating BTC once it hit 80K, and then start buying at 20K. So also, all right, thank you for watching.